Going into this season, there were definitely some pretty big expectations for this New York Rangers team, although they did not go out there and make a big kind of splash trade like there were some rumors of possibly happening around this offseason there, where there were thoughts that maybe Chris Drury in the front office would decide to go out there and finally kind of make that big move for a true kind of star/superstar caliber player. They obviously did not do that and ended up making, as their biggest move, kind of acquiring Riley Smith in a trade from the Pittsburgh Penguins. And, Smith, he's a fine player and all, but let's be honest, he is not a true kind of top six forward at this point in his NHL career. He's a fine middle six guy, but I wouldn't necessarily kind of consider him a true kind of top six caliber forward. So I think obviously with the disappointment of the offseason there and with how this Rangers team has kind of played so far, there are definitely some question marks on kind of, what we can kind of expect and kind of possibly could see out of this team for the rest of this NHL season. So in today's video, we're going to kind of talk about how this Rangers team has played so far this season, how they've been playing as of late, and kind of what their playoff ceiling could possibly end up being. Can the Rangers realistically kind of get to the second round there? Can they get to the third round? Can they go all the way to the cup final? We're going to kind of talk about how this team has played so far this season and kind of what the expectation and kind of possibilities are for this team come playoff time as well. So let's get right into it here. And first off, kind of talk about where they sit in the NHL standings. So as of recording this video right now, they are quite a few points back of actually, being in one of those top two wildcard spots. Now, there obviously are some things that go in their advantage where, yes, the Rangers do have quite a few games in hand over certain teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins, Philadelphia Flyers, Columbus, and Boston as well. All those teams that are above them right now, those are the teams that the Rangers do have at least one or two kind of games in hand on right now. So that's obviously nice. Having some games in hand, extra games to play is obviously good, but there's still quite a few points back of those top two spots. And, right now, yes, the Rangers have definitely started to look a little better as of late, but they're still not playing the best hockey. And let's be honest here, even with these wins, it's not like they're completely dominating these teams and they're out shooting them by like 20 shots and they're having way more time on ice and they're having 7.3 expected goals or something crazy like that. Like they're not necessarily kind of dominating these games where they're the complete better team. It's kind of just a little more of kind of what we've seen in the past where maybe the power play is working a little better, playing like a slight bit better defensively. Maybe Igor and Quick kind of play a little better here and there possibly. There's not really a whole lot to it where this team has kind of completely changed and they're really looking like a true kind of contender now. I think it's more of just they're kind of getting back to what we've seen in the past where, you're relying on your goaltender a lot. The power play's there. The 5-on-5 scoring still an issue. You still get kind of at work for the most part, but you still kind of manage just kind of, find some wins here and there. And that was always going to happen. That big, long, terrible slump, it was always going to end at some point and kind of turn around at least a little bit. Now, obviously, it hasn't completely turned around a complete direction there. And this team is 7-0 in their last 7, but they have started to play some better hockey. I just don't necessarily think that this is some groundbreaking thing where this Rangers team is a completely changed team now, and they are really so much better than what they were earlier on in the season. I think it's just more of they're starting to win a few games here and there for sure, which is great, and against some better teams, but I really don't think this team has just kind of completely changed their play style, and they're just completely, kind of a fixed team at this point. And I don't necessarily think that, the reason why the Rangers have started to pile on a few wins kind of here so far in the month of December is just because of the power play or necessarily the goaltending, but I just really don't think that we have seen this team kind of, change their play style or kind of really change a whole lot from what we've seen in the past. I think just kind of starting to get a few wins here, which, it was always going to happen. They were never going to be that bad for forever. I mean, they were 3-10 in the month of December. That was not going to continue. No NHL team is really that bad for the most part, going 3-10 for an entire season on that pace at least. So the Rangers are never going to be that bad forever, but obviously, with what we've seen as of late, sure, it's nice to see some wins here, but I really and truly don't think that this team is anything really different from what we've seen in the past, and just think they're kind of, just getting by. I mean, they're not having these dominant wins, so in my opinion, this team is still kind of in the same spot as they've been in the past months. It's just maybe things are looking a little better right now, which it's nice. I mean, I want to see this team win. You never want to see your team, do terrible, and I mean, certain times maybe you want to see them maybe kind of quote-unquote tank a bit and maybe kind of have a chance at getting better odds in the lottery, but other than that, you're never really wanting to see your team kind of, just lose out. And with the way the Rangers kind of are in a spot right now, I just don't necessarily think that, they're going to be looking to kind of really strip things down completely and kind of go on for a full kind of, tank job, kind of quote unquote. But I also do think that, that is kind of what's best for this team and kind of what's needed is to go out there and kind of make those selling moves to kind of maybe edge yourself a little more towards kind of not necessarily tanking, but just, not competing right this season. And that may suck for some fans to hear, but at the end of the day, I am someone who's always going to kind of want to look towards the future if things aren't really looking great right now. So with the way things are going right now, and the Rangers are being, right now one of the bottom teams in really the entire NHL, definitely in that wild card race. So in my opinion, why would you not kind of look maybe a little more towards the future this season and go out there and maybe make moves with the intention of kind of maybe looking more towards, next season and beyond instead of this season where, obviously maybe this team can, squeak into the wild card spot there and maybe somehow pull off an upset in the first round. That could definitely happen with having a goaltender like Igor Shesterkin. We've seen him in the past, win multiple series for this team, and he is kind of the clear number one guy, and number one cause for those wins, which that's great and all, but at the end of the day, this team is not built like a true Stanley Cup contender. I mean, we've seen how the Panthers are built and other teams as well like that. Tampa was built when they won their cups and stuff like that. They were built a lot better way, a lot tougher team to play against. Really just an all-around great team. The depth is phenomenal, top to bottom. They have those elite guys, but they also have the depth there, the physicality, the toughness, the big defensemen, the puck-moving guys, the great goaltending like the Rangers have, but obviously, there are a lot of other areas that the Rangers definitely lack in, and those are some of the things that we need to see Chris Drury kind of fix, because he did not do that this past offseason. He did not really fix anything at all. He just kind of came in with pretty much most of the same kind of roster there, did not change the identity or anything really changed at all about this team other than a couple minor additions here and there, and the big one was going out there and getting Riley Smith, who, like I said, is a fine kind of middle six guy, but at this point in his career is not really a true top six forward. And now kind of getting to the whole point of this actual video and talking about, what is the actual ceiling for the New York Rangers this season? And with everything I kind of talked about throughout this video, I think really and truly it's a first round win at most. I mean, maybe something crazy would happen where the Rangers somehow go on this miraculous run. And we have seen, crazier things happen before where like the Oilers, they were one of the worst teams last year. They turned things around and boom, look what they did. A while ago when the Blues won their cup, like what they did. They were an awful team, turned things around that season, and boom, they won the cup. They're obviously Edmonton didn't win the cup last year, but, still had a Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals appearance. So it's not like they were too far away. So they're having crazy things happen before, but I just think with the way this roster is constructed, you're basically kind of banking on Igor once again, trying to kind of carry this team along throughout the playoffs there. So in my opinion, the true ceiling for this team is however far Igor is willing to kind of take this team. It's all up to Igor. If Igor can somehow manage to pull off, 2 series kind of just steals there where he just completely robs 2 teams there of a series win, maybe we win 2 rounds. That's our ceiling. It's whatever Igor can kind of get out of this team here, because in my opinion, once it gets to the playoffs there, from what we've seen in the past few years, it's all up to Igor. Nothing else matters about really this team's success. I mean, obviously, you still have to score. You still have to kind of, play the games and still try and help out Igor as much as you can, but let's be honest here. The reason why this team has made 2 of the last 3 Eastern Conference Finals is because of Igor Shesterkin. No one really else. I mean, yes, there have been other guys who played good, but the main key guy has clearly been Igor Shesterkin. So in my opinion, this season's kind of playoff future really is just kind of up to Igor. If he can steal 2 rounds, then the Rangers make it to the 3rd round. If he can steal 1, the Rangers make it to the 2nd round. It's all up to Igor, really, truly, on kind of what the ceiling is for this playoff team. But if I had to really kind of guess, I would imagine this team may squeak into a playoff spot, but at best there, you're going to squeak in and probably be a first-round exit, in my opinion. That's kind of the best scenario, but you very well could end up seeing Igor steal a round or 2. It's definitely possible, but kind of unlikely at this point with the way things have been kind of going for this team, and especially if they do kind of make selling moves, which I am all in favor of. We very well could end up seeing this team, not make playoffs, which definitely could end up happening with kind of how bad things have been so far for this Rangers team. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content. If you do enjoy these videos and you like watching New York Rangers videos and getting updates, pieces of news, reports, all that kind of stuff, anything involved in the Rangers, this is the exact place to be. So hit that like and subscribe button, and also definitely comment down below your thoughts on the New York Rangers as a whole, and what do you think the kind of ceiling is for this Rangers team for this upcoming season? Do you think they're going to be a wild card team, a first-round exit, second-round exit? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs at all? Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you next one. Let's go Rangers.